Hi there, we're here again doing a little vignette about publication support for physicians. I'm Don Samulack, President, U.S. Operations of Editage, and I'm here sitting with Les Citrome, Dr. Citrome, Editor-in-Chief, International Journal of Clinical Practice. He's also Clinical Professor of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences at New York Medical College. We're here at the International Publication Planning Association meeting in San Diego, February 10th, 2014. And we just thought we'd sit down together and have a chit-chat, one about journal practices, and what he as an editor-in-chief is really looking for from Asian authors in general. Thank you for sitting down and having the discussion. So let me ask you just a very brief question to get things rolling, and that is, from a journal perspective, what are you looking for in the numbers of papers coming out of Asia?
Well, the International Journal of Clinical Practice is a broad-based journal, multidisciplinary. We look at all facets of medicine, but we do want papers that reflect an international community. So the more broad the subject matter and the type of illnesses that are described, the better. So we're looking for really things that a general practitioner would be interested in, and we want to publish things that are relatively new, interesting, novel, or if it's an old issue, a new way of telling it.
Does your journal receive a lot of submissions from Asia, China, Japan?
We do. We receive a lot of journal article submissions from Asia. By and large, if they reflect only that's very centric to Asia, they may not have the broad appeal necessary for publication in our journal. So we're looking for things that have a broad implication for clinical practice around the world. Mm-hmm. Now, it may be that there are some issues regarding Asian patients that would be of interest. Outside of Asia, there are many Asian patients that need treatment, and if there's anything unusual or different about that, then certainly we're interested in that aspect of care.
So when you receive papers that are non-Western, non-US, non-North American, non-European, whether they be Latin America or Asia, really English second language papers whose authors have been challenged with English as a second language and have problems in articulating their message, how does your journal, how does your editorial team reach out to help work with these authors?
Well, if we receive an article that is interesting, it tells a new story or a new way of telling an old story, and it has merit, we try to find some common ground. And if we really are interested, we will let the authors know of what needs to be done to make their manuscript up to the standards necessary for publication. Now, it may also require some explanation as to why their results are interesting and how they reflect the world at large. So putting things into perspective is very important.
Clearly, you may be seeing in the last couple of years an influx of papers coming from Asia. Do you find that a challenge? And if it really is a challenge to find the good papers out of the numbers of papers that come forward, what messages would you offer authors in order to ensure that they submit a good submission package, a good paper that really meets the norms of your journal?
Well, I encourage all authors to first send a pre-submission inquiry to our editorial offices, and that way we can determine whether or not our journal would be a good fit for the paper. That's the first step. The second step actually is to make it clear in the paper itself, if it is accepted for this preliminary review, to make sure that the results are placed into context of the whole world and not just the region of the world that the subjects have come from. So that's really important. A worldwide perspective is important.
Okay. Are there specific challenges that you identify in the papers that you receive that you'd like to highlight, that how they could prepare these submissions better?
Well, one particular area is that of meta-analyses. That's quite problematic, actually, because it's now today, with today's technology, not that difficult a technological hurdle to conduct a meta-analysis. And if a meta-analysis is submitted to our journal, we want to make absolutely sure that it's different from what's already been published, that it tells a different story than what we've heard otherwise, or it brings to the table something entirely new. So that's difficult. So we're not the journal to publish a meta-analysis that probably has appeared before.